World Championship glory is presumably what every single wrestler gets in the business to achieve. And despite all the "you deserve it" chants we hear at arenas around the world, so few of them very rarely ever even get to taste it. And with a new decade on the way and a new influx of talent coming through, all the questions are starting to be asked about who is going to be the 2020s version of John Cena, of Tanahashi, of Styles, of Bryan, of the Iconics. And let's face it, friends, every single wrestling promotion on the planet right now has an embarrassment of riches at their disposal. The talent available for WWE, AEW, New Japan, and all the indies around the world is as good as it has ever been. But a lot of them still haven't won a world championship, and for them to do that for the very first time, their promotion of choice is going to have to roll the old dice and take a bit of a gamble on them. So let's look at 10 or so people who I think are gonna get that honor. My name is Adam Cleary, and this is every single wrestler, limited to 10, that I think could win their first world championship in 2020. Got away with that. Number 10, Rusev. Could 2020 finally be the time that WWE take that plunge and make Rusev Day Rusev Yeah? Well, almost absolutely certainly not at all. But is anybody else just watching this whole Rusev Lashley Lana thing and thinking there is no way you'd be putting up with that, no way you'd be doing this if they hadn't promised you spoils at the end of it? Considering the amount of airtime given to this tale of infidelity and its consistently high viewing numbers on WWE's YouTube channel, it's safe to say the bosses currently hold a vested interest in all three parties involved. Assuming Rusev eventually wins the feud, he would then be in a great position to move on as a popular babyface to a show where heels currently dominate. With that in mind, Rusev is an absolutely sensational candidate for that yearly role they have for the one babyface we actually let get a world title run. It was Kofi last year, it could be Ruru this. Imagine it though, just a couple of months of the nice big belt on Rusev before obviously Brock Lesnar returns, gives him 400 German suplexes and then beats him inside 3 minutes. Be nice. Number 9, Keith Lee. A long-term veteran of the US Indies, for years many people asked the question, when would a big promotion finally bask in Keith Lee's glory? And to every single one of them I said, literally, WCPW did it in 2017. And then for a while he was of course NXT's best kept secret, an impossibly charismatic, immediately entertaining, larger than life personality who was just floating around the mid-card, having his feuds here, having his feuds there, waiting to break out into the scene. And then Survivor Series. Exuding charisma and with an affable charm that contrasts his hulking personality, it's now not a question of if Keith Lee is going to be getting a world championship, but which world championship he's going to be getting. Will it come to him on NXT or the main roster? And yes, while it would be highly entertaining to see him squash the Undisputed Era's intermittable dominance of the yellow brand, he's probably the ideal foil for either The Fiend or Brock Lesnar. I just want you to cast your minds back to Survivor Series where he hit that spirit bomb on Roman Reigns and Reigns bounced about 8 foot back up in the air, and you just thought for a second Keith Lee is gonna win this. Keith Lee's gonna beat the entire main roster for NXT. It didn't feel unbelievable, did it? It wasn't an underdog thing, it just felt right. Number 8, Sanada. Alright, hands up here. Despite the connections with his stable and the illustrious nature of his mentor, this man has had a bit of a hit and miss run in New Japan so far, let's say. He's got a naturally athletic ability, he's really devilishly handsome, he has a star persona, and yet he's just always floating around like the lower to mid card in New Japan. He's never got more than 8 points in a G1, and in 3.5 years, he's never got a single singles title. Now, much of this can be attributed to him not committing to a full contract with New Japan, and especially poor decision this year due to his explosion in popularity. But based on the gates drawn for his matches against Okada and his consistently high ratings and fan votes, it's clear that crowds support a Sanada push. The guy's going to wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. at the Tokyo Dome this year. Fingers crossed that his injury is not too severe. And you would hope, you would pray that from there he signs a full-time contract and he gets the push he so richly deserves. If not, I do not want this man on this same list next year. All right, I don't want that. Number 7, Matt Riddle. How would you describe Matt Riddle to one of your friends who had never seen him before? You basically, what have you got? It's the dude from The Big Lebowski with filthy Tom Lawler, and then you just combine them and add a hatred for aging WCW stars. Like, the guy is hard-hitting but humorous. He is just got this amazing natural connection with the NXT audience, and let us not forget, my friends, in 2019 he pinned Randy Orton, which not a lot of people do. Despite being booked strong every single week, Riddle has curiously lost all of his title challenges thus far. Some think this is to build up anticipation for when they finally pull the trigger on him in NXT, but they might not even bother with that at all if rumblings of a main roster debut in the new year prove to be true. Now, provided he can rein it in a little bit on social media and stay away from those, what does my mom call them, funny cigarettes, this could very well be the year he ascends to the very top of the pile in WWE. But despite what a natural fit he would be for the main roster, you just think, don't you, NXT's crying out for a new, fresh top babyface, and I mean, who better? Number 6, Hangman Page. Oh, what? Oh my god, another Adam, I hear you not say, and this man's career was forever changed recently when he was indoctrinated into Bullet Club's elite. He went from being just another man in New Japan to one of the major players in the Bullet Club Civil War angle of 2018. Athletic and full of promise, Page felt like someone who may one day transform into a superstar more than being one in the present. Case in point, massing a measly 6 points in last year's G1. In AEW, however, the booking team has begun to position him as a wrestling prodigy just waiting to explode onto the main event scene. Now, yes, they did put him in that first ever AEW World title picture, and yes, he did lose that and didn't look too great in the process, but this impending heel turn on Kenny Omega, really hoping this video goes out before that happens, should make him look like an absolute megastar. And from there, well, the sky's the limit. Number 5, Io Shirai. Alright, okay, before I start, this is no disrespect to Stardom. Obviously, she has been the world champion in Stardom, but there's nothing that clearly tells me what is classed as a major world championship, okay? It's just shut up. Putting Rhea Ripley to one side for a second, a woman who has had a year the likes of which we have never ever seen in WWE, who feels like the strongest person to emerge from WWE's strongest division this year. Spoiler, the strongest division is the NXT Women's Division. It's Io, isn't it? Of course it's Io. Like, Shayna's been on a tear, but she's dropped her title. Bianca Belair's kind of started, but then stuttered a little bit. Tegan Nox's comeback has not really come to anything. Candice hasn't really built on all of the fan support she has, but Io has delivered in every single match. Every match she's been in this year, she has stolen the show. That cage match, War Games, the title picture, she's been unbelievable, and her reinvention as a heel has been one of the most spectacular things we've seen outside of The Fiend. With Ripley's new title reign needing a new series of fresh challenges and opponents, the queue is about a mile long for who can face her next. And while NXT would be well served to bring in a fresh batch of challengers, the ones currently on the card can all deliver. Chief amongst them is categorically Io Shirai. And yes, I know they've only just put the title on Rhea Ripley, and yes, I know NXT Women's Championship reigns are not historically short, but surely we're not going to get another one that spans an entire calendar year, are we? Surely not. And if somebody deserves to get a run with that belt, it's this woman. Number 4, Jeff Cobb. Yes, another man for whom it has been a year filled with ups and downs. Eh? Get it? Because I present that episode of Ups and Downs every week. You don't know who I am, do you? His highs have included beating Will Ospreay for the Never Openweight Championship and performing in this year's G1 Climax, and his lows have included getting beat by Matt Taven in under 10 minutes for the Ring of Honor Championship. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. A remarkably strong and agile big man, Cobb offers plenty of crowd-pleasing offense in all of his matches and is a likable if slightly reserved promo. Clearly one of Ring of Honor's hotter prospects for 2020, Cobb would be the ideal nemesis for new world champion PCO. The hoss fights between the two would be entertaining as hell. I should say this is all dependent on him staying in Ring of Honor, of course. The guy clearly loves New Japan and may well make the jump there full time next year. But if he does, he would be about as far away from their world title picture as I am from the top of Adam Wilborn's head. Number 3, Braun Strowman. Just look, I don't ask for a whole lot in this life, but I asked very kindly for when Braun Strowman was the hottest thing in WWE, I asked for him to be the Universal Champion. I didn't get that, did I? And even though he's nowhere near the hottest thing in WWE anymore, I still want that to happen because It's delayed gratification. They're edging me, is what they're doing. They're edging me. His Money in the Bank win last year seemed to be the absolute guarantee that the company were finally ready to commit to their resident strongman. Full of promise and with the entire crowd behind him, Strowman ultimately became the fourth man to fail in his briefcase challenge and has since floundered in the mid-card. We all still love him, of course, but his misadventures in the main event scene have really damaged his credibility. Now, I don't want this video to become just a load of exercises in fantasy booking, because we know what memories that drudges up for you all, but just there's such an obvious story to tell here. His former mentor is the current Universal Champion, the man who brought him into the company and seems almost unkillable. Put them together! I don't know how you get from here to there at the minute, though. You can't do it straight away. Like, the guy has worked everyone from, Drew Gulak to Tyson Fury this year and beaten hardly any of them in the process, so some work does need to be done, but just do it! Number 2, King Corbin. I'm not well. Yes, WWE's most polarizing character of 2019. Everybody hates Baron Corbin, but if you divide that line down the middle, some people think that they hate him because he's just so bad they cannot tolerate watching him, and the rest of us know that that's what he's doing on purpose because he's just an excellent heel. He's making you all hate him by making you think he sucks. Hate shinlocks, do you? He has 10 of them! Although that said, you can't really dispute the fact that when they put him at the very top of the card, the ratings went like, whoo. Nevertheless, it is clear that WWE believes in Corbin. This year, they have booked him to retire all-time great Kurt Angle, bag the King of the Ring honor, and defeat Roman Reigns in what appeared to be the conclusion of their bizarre feud at TLC. Now, at the time of me recording this video, Baron Corbin is in a #1 contenders match against Daniel Bryan and against The Miz, with the winner challenging Bray Wyatt for the WWE Universal title at the Royal Rumble. We don't know if he's going to win that, and depending on whether or not he does, this entry could go either way. If he wins that, I could genuinely see him going on to win the title at the Rumble, purely so everybody gets a big panic on about whether or not he's going to be in the main event of WrestleMania, because WWE absolutely love winding you all up, and they know how much you hate him, and just, if he doesn't win the triple threat match though, SummerSlam. Number 1, Koduri Bushi. One of the most gifted, one of the most entertaining, one of the most exhilarating, inventive and imaginative pro wrestlers of his generation, Koduri Bushi finally signed a full-time contract with New Japan in 2019. He was rewarded, of course, with a short but, let's just say, interesting run with the Intercontinental title, which had in it some of the most dangerous matches I've ever seen. I did a whole video about the Naito thing and the next, and I just don't want to talk about it. Completely split from Golden Lover and wrestling soulmate Kenny Omega, Ibushi has effortlessly stepped into the role of New Japan's leading babyface. Putting on epic matches with just about anyone the company has to offer this year, Ibushi will be marching into the Tokyo Dome to battle Okada on January 4th. If he can beat him, a double title match awaits him the day after on the 5th. Now, yes, the assumption is that Ibushi will lose that match so that Okada can go on to wrestle Naito as part of this career-spanning rivalry the two of them have, and, well, yes, Japanese audiences will absolutely love that, but just, you mark my words, if that happens sometime in 2020, it doesn't matter when it is, sometime in 2020, Ibushi will finally be the babyface hero they have been crying out for, and he will win that IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Cast iron, certain, Cleary approved, 100% rubber stamped guarantee. Ish. So there you have it, that's every single wrestler in the entire world, up to a maximum of 10, who could win their first ever World Heavyweight Championship in 2020. Let me know what you made of them all, as well as any shouts of your own in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In the meantime, though, thank you so much for watching. I've, of course, been Adam Cleary, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Happy New Year, whenever you're watching.